the children. Okay. So the next question is for Naima. Okay. Do you think it is easy to get a job after graduation in your country?
Can you repeat?
Do you think it is easy to get a job or to be recruited after graduation in Azerbaijan?
Finding a job in Azerbaijan. Okay, finding a job in Azerbaijan becomes a bit of difficult nowadays because there are less vacancies than the amount of human who graduate the universities, and because of it, students who graduate the universities should have some skills for having different qualities from others. Of course, every companies and other places search of workers who have who have different qualities, and for example, language skills, computer skills, or master degrees in foreign countries. If we have different abilities from others, we can finding job can be easily for us. Can be easier.
Mm-hmm.
Can be easier than for us.
All right. The next question is coming to Lee. Should university education be free?
Hi. Do you hear my voice?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This is my first connection here. And could you repeat your question, please?
All right. So the question is, should university education be free of charge, without any payment?
Free of charge. In our country, secondary schools, until secondary school, it is free of charge, as we know. It is public school, and it is normal. We know that our government, not in all our country, in the world, the government supporting the education. This is the big part of the policy. This education is very important for countries and for citizens. To my mind, it should be free of charge, of course, and this is normal. But universities, education at universities, it is not free of charge. Especially they are very expensive prices, and I don't agree with this range.
Okay. Now another question for Rasul. So Rasul, what do you think about the good education? What is a good education?
Good education.
Yeah.
Good education. It is in some schools. The teachers was need good to give good to teach where and good about good education. About good education, some schools, all schools need to clever teachers to give good education.
Okay. Now let's go transition to Ms. Naima. How can educators and parents promote creativity in children?
Can you repeat? What's
all right.
Parents and teachers?
How can educators and parents promote creativity in children?
Creativity.
Yeah.
Okay. No, 1 minute. Okay. For giving students or people good education, at first, the education should attract them, and for taking their attract their attention, educators, parents, or teachers should have new methods and creative methods, because there are some students who are reluctant about giving good education. They just waste their time at the university with roaming. Then, because of these issues, finding creative ideas or methods are essential now. And for finding new methods or ways, teachers and psychologists should work together, because finding new ways not just about the education, it's also about the human psychological. Okay.
Psychology. Okay, but the question is not about the creative teaching styles. The question is about how can teachers and like educators and parents promote creativity instead of just teaching the facts, the information, knowledge. Sorry?
What is creativity?
Creativity means, for example, you're doing something in a different way. All right. So sometimes we teach rote learning. Rote learning means memorization, that we memorize something. But creativity is you're giving the tool to the student and they're just creating something different by the models, by the projects, on the basis of whatever they've been taught in terms of creativity. Have you heard about creative people, creative students?
Yes, I heard about it.
How can we promote them in such a way that they become creative rather than just a regular ordinary citizen?
Okay, I think I think teachers and parents should give them a chance for saying their opinions about the education, the type of the lessons, and they always and students should suggest new ways for teaching and learning, because if this way, for example, if some teachers' methods are wrong, for students, they can't learn from anything this teacher. Of course, the teacher could be so knowledgeable. Of course, the teacher knows this subject very well, but without good methods, they can't teach something to students.
So the next question for Ali. How would you compare the quality of education in your country to other countries? Did you hear Ali? Mr. Ali?
I'm ready. The internet changed from megabyte to Wi-Fi.
All right. So I asked you a question that can you compare the quality of education in Azerbaijan to other countries?
Quality, I'll try.
So you're going to make a comparison.
I'm thinking. In Azerbaijan, of course, there are enough good teachers. It is not doubt, but in terms of the system, I can say that in our country it remains the old ancient rules from Soviets and it's going to reduce the level of education, and but nowadays, day by day, our country, our government try to transform to European American system, but not totally change this processes because we have a lot of teachers that they cannot adapt to the new systems, and but in general, I appreciate the European system. How can I say, education quality. It depends. Sometimes it depends on from our regions or from city schools or region schools. Uh, of course, the majority of good teachers occupied in the cities, but day by day, our educational Minister of Education has decided good decisions about the in, transformation of teachers. That we know that new teachers are sending to the regions as well, and they are giving a big salary who will go to the far from the capital, and commonly I would say that the quality of education is not only depends on the teachers or system or your country. We are living in the information age, and we have everything on our hands if we have a good purpose. If
It seems like there is an internet connection problem, right? So I'm going to ask you a question until Mr. Alim comes back. So do you have any funny school stories? Rasul?
Funny school stories.
Yeah. Funny school stories. Doesn't necessarily have to be yours, but you can also derive the information from your peers, your friends. Maybe they had the funny stories, and you can just share one of them. It doesn't matter whether it happens to you or the other people.
I can say first in math we make a test, and it is we wrote a test, and I get high mark, but they write journal for, because in our class there are 3 Russell, me and another 2. They think it is me and write me for. Then they saw I write high mark, and they changed that mark.
Change the mark. So this is called the misnaming problem with the teachers. Okay, that might be the case, maybe. All right, now the next question is for Naima. So, do you think evolution should be taught at schools?
Should be what?
Evolution. Do you know evolution? Which is proposed by
No,
Darwin.
I understand what's revolution. I can't hear the word after should.
Should evolution be taught at schools?
Taught?
Yeah.
What?
Teach, taught. It should be taught. That teachers should teach it in the class.
Okay. Evolution should be taught at the
Schools.
class,
Mm-hmm.
at schools. Okay. Nowadays, teachers use many teachers use ancient methods during the 45 minutes, and it became so boring. The people.
Okay, the question is about evolution. All right.
Evolution.
Yeah, evolution is the type of theory which is proposed by Darwin, Charles Darwin.
Oh, evolution. Okay. Mm-hmm. Evolution. I think from my point, this theory is so wrong because it's impossible. If it's true, why the modern monkeys don't become the human, not become human? Because of which, I don't think the theory is correct. And teaching students, teaching people's wrong information are very bad. And I think many countries refuse to teach this theory at schools and universities. And and especially at schools, this theory can create wrong opinions in the children's mind, because their thinking styles, their points to the world still growing, and giving them wrong information about evolution or other essential issues can create bad results in the future. And because of it, I think it's so wrong to teach children this story.
And all of you, whenever you are expressing your opinion about any idea, any question that you're addressed, try to use a variety of vocabulary and more advanced vocabulary, okay? This is a side trick. So, for example, as far as I know, there are some things, or I support it, or let's say I endorse the point that you can use such kind of phrases in order to state your verification or denial, right? So the next question is for Alim. So, do you prefer public or private schools?
Public or private schools?
Yeah.
As for, could you exaggerate a little? Public school, private school, the meaning exactly? I couldn't catch the meaning exactly.
Mm-hmm. So private schools are generally not regulated by the government, okay? And you have to pay some fees, but let's say public schools, they are regulated by the governments, and generally they are free, or because that they are related to the government, there is some governmental regulation inside of these schools. Okay.
But in our country, is there these types? I don't remember.
There are IB schools, for example. The international schools, they're all private schools. They're not related to the government.
Yes.
Okay, you can
of
change
course.
it to the universities, for example, private universities or public universities. Which one would you like to prefer?
I prefer, of course, private schools, because when you are taught in this kind of schools, the quality of level will be a little higher than other, and because they will be responsible for you a big, and when you pay when you pay for schools, and you and your parents will be very responsible for this intention. And but as an educational system, I don't know exactly which one will be very good, but we know that in this kind of school they are attracting high-level teachers to teach, and their systems is modern and well organized, to my mind, and that's all.
So you mean it depends on the situation. It depends on the quality of education that are being brought to the university or schools. That whichever has the best teachers and education system, you should choose that one, rather than just thinking about whether it is private or public school. All right.
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask the question for Rasul. Can you talk about the benefits of education, or in other words, advantages of education? Why do I have to be educated? Why do I have to go to schools and learn some knowledge there?
Why we go to schools?
Yeah, the benefits. Talk about the good sides of education.
When we go to when we apply to job, we need to know that job, and we need a good knowledge. That's why we go to schools and we learn lessons, and we make tests to learn lessons. Then we go to university to strong that knowledge. Then when we apply to job, we need to have a very good knowledge.
Yeah, education gives you mean people knowledge and skills, and also it can help them earn a higher salary after the graduation within their jobs, or with their qualification alongside that is being given by the education. They're more likely to find a good job. Also, they can contribute positively to their society by being beneficial for different aspects of their life, and so forth. Okay, now let's ask another question to Ms. Naima. So, can you talk about the benefits of studying abroad?
Of course. If you are living in Azerbaijan, having education in abroad is a big advantage for you for finding good jobs which provide you life insurance, good salary, or, for example, other good conditions. Then you can, and nowadays most students prefer Europe or America for
their overseas education. Overseas education.
Education. Okay, for education, and the most companies in Azerbaijan prefer candidates who graduate universities in foreign countries, and of course everybody wants to have a good job in Azerbaijan, and of course it's possible to find a job if you graduate university in Baku, but
from local universities.
Yes, in local universities, but it becomes a bit of difficult. And if you graduate bachelor degree in local universities, it would be better to graduate master degree in foreign countries.
Okay. So, Mr. Ali, what do you think about the drawbacks of studying abroad?
Drawbacks of studying abroad, negative sides?
Yeah.
If you are wise and if you are clever and you have your, as I said before, if you have uh, plans and goals, and if you choose this way, of course you have to go inside. You have to go inside, and you have to try to reach your goals, and uh, this is your advantages of that you have chosen to get educated in abroad. But negative sides, as a negative sides, I would say that if you don't get the support from this country, and if you have chosen the um, bad university or bad school, and if you choose the bad friends, schoolmates, it will lead you to the bad ways. How can I say? To live in abroad, of course, um is good, but you have to be attentive, and you live. Uh, you have to live uh, with
You have to
carefully.
live in a different place, right? Right, and you need to find accommodation. You need to pay bills in another country.
Yes, yes, yes. Accommodation and insurance. There are this kind of aspects are very important. And as we know, during the pandemic period, uh, we have the majority of learners living in abroad, and with their parents are become very concerned about their children, and in this case, of course, you have to be very attentive, and can how can I say, can figure out these situations.
Mhm. Okay. And how about studying in a foreign language? Is it a kind of challenge for the student? Can it be considered as the difficult side of studying abroad, or
A bit of difficult in a bad
oh,
university.
sorry?
Yes. Could you repeat, please?
I'm just adding the new point as the negative side that studying
Uh-huh.
abroad in a different language might also be a kind of challenge or not.
Uh, kind of challenge or not?
Is it a challenge or not?
Mm,
Studying in a different language. For example, you're Azerbaijani, but you're studying in English, in Turkish, in Russian. Is it a difficult process for students or not? Is it a
uh,
drawback or not?
First, at the beginning, it is a difficult process. Uh, it can seem as a difficult process, but um, after a while, you can get adapted. You can get used to it, and if you have a good um, if you have a good uh, goal, purpose, you have to learn this language due to your going on, due to your continue your education, and you have to try to learn. You have to try to make a good opportunity, good mates in abroad. Of course, you have to organize everything as in your own. Mm,
Okay,
and
okay,
yes,
that's I think enough. And now let's ask a question to Rasul. So, what are the fondest memories of your school? Do you know fondest?
This
Fondest memory. Fondest memory means memorable or best. Okay, very good. Best memories of school.
Fondest memory.
Mhm. Okay, if there is no one, then you can just make it up quickly because we're at the last 10 minutes of the conversation club, and then I've already sent you the new link. We're going to rejoin, okay, through your WhatsApp or Zoom chat. You can reach out the new link. After the completion of the first session, we're going to directly go to the second session. All right. So, are you going to answer the question, Rasul? We're not going to use any lie detector that whether you're saying the truth or not. Okay. Therefore, just tell me something about that you think of might be good. Okay, a kind of good memory.
A good memory.
It might be, let's say, befriending with the best person in the world.
When we finished the sixth grade, we go to the party with our friends. We go party.
Going to the party was the best part of your school life. School memory.
With my classmates.
Okay, I'm not going to further the conversation that what was good about it because actually you just told me the first part of your answer, but you didn't tell me what was good about it. And so we're not going to extend that, but let me just share some of the let's say problems here. A bit of difficult. Can we say a bit of difficult? So we say a bit difficult. Okay. So a bit or a little difficult. Difficult. Also, we can say, let's say, much difficult. It was much difficult. Okay, not a bit of. Also, we don't say in abroad, living abroad. Okay, living abroad, not in abroad, or studying abroad. Study abroad. Studying abroad is one of the benefits of, let's say, the globalization process. Bad university, instead of bad university, I would use here low-ranking universities. Yeah, this is more proper way of saying bad university. Or instead of bad friends, we can say negative friends, okay, rather than bad friends. Try to use the words in a way that is going to, let's say, formulate the positive correlation with your interlocutor, with the person that you are communicating with. In that case, it's going to be easier for you to be understood, and at the same time, it will facilitate the process of communication. The communication will be much more effective in this case. Okay, now I'm going to ask the question for Ms. Naima. Do you have any regrets about your education? That you were studying business, right? Or law? Confused.
I'm studying in law faculty.
Law, So do you have any regrets about your education?
Of course, I have some regrets about my education, and I chose my faculty myself, and I love my occupation. But I don't have any regrets about choosing faculty, but I have some regrets about learning these things during the university. For example, I could go computer course, language course at the first when I was freshman. But how pity I wasn't interested in to learn new things at the first course. And it's my biggest regrets, and After second course, I started to join volunteer programs in Baku, but I could start them much earlier. For example, when I was studying at the first course or second course, my regrets are about being late.
Okay. This is the last minute that we can continue this conversation. Therefore, I'm going to switch it off and then start the new session. Okay, I've already sent you the links so you can rejoin with the new links. Okay, see you in the next session.
Okay.